Hey YouTube, how are you guys doing? It's been a while since I did a video. I was out here. Today is November the, I can't remember, 7th or 8th. It's a Thursday. And we're supposed to get some really cold weather this weekend, tonight. I've put most of my stuff in the greenhouse that needs to be away from the cold weather, but I've been wanting to harvest some Dan Shen. I think I've talked a lot about Dan Shen, and I've showed you guys the really pretty Dan Shen that's over in the garden that has spread like a weed, kind of like the Tulsi. It's in the bed with the Tulsi, actually, with one of the beds of Tulsi anyway, and it has migrated over to another bed. So I was out here digging up the Dan Shen, and oh my gosh, the roots are beautiful, which I've heard that, you know, the roots are beautiful. That's where it gets its name, red root. It's probably not the same as some other red roots that I've heard of as well, but it's called red root. It's kind of a nickname. It's Salvia miltiorrhiza, I think. I'm probably not sounding that out right, but anyway, it's a salvia, it's a sage, it's also called red sage, which I guess from the root, because the flowers are not red, they're purple. But it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's very good medicine. I'll probably talk a little while about the medicine, and after I show you guys the plant, and I'm going to show you the root. And it's just, I've been out here digging, and I thought, because I had some plants coming up like in the walkways, because like I said, it's spreading like the Tulsi is, which I don't mind. I just want to be sure. I'm pretty sure it'll come back next year, because it came back this year from last year, but they're calling for a really bad winter, and I'd hate to lose it. So I thought, well, I'll take a couple of containers, little containers out here that I reuse from other plants that I buy, and throw them in there and put them in the greenhouse and see if I can overwinter them in there, and then I'll have plants and be sure that I have plenty of plants. Man, I've been digging for probably an hour, and I am still not done with digging up all the little plants that are coming up in between the beds, and they've migrated over to the next bed, and it just, my heart is full. I love the Dan Shen, it's beautiful, and I'm really happy that, you know, it has chosen my garden to multiply so greatly in. But I want to share this and show you guys what it looks like, the root, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what it can be used for. I was looking online on YouTube for some information on tincturing the root, and when to tincture and what to use, and I haven't really found anything. So we're going to do a trial and error, and I'm going to do some more investigating and ask around for some more people. If anybody knows, if you've ever tinctured Dan Shen, D-A-N-S-H-E-N is how it's spelled, then, you know, let me know. Give me your pointers. I would love to hear comments or anything from people who actually have worked with Dan Shen, because this is my first year. Well, I planted it last year, and I got it from my friend Pat that I talk about a lot in these videos because I love her, and she grows a lot of beautiful medicinal herbs and stuff, and she doesn't live far from me. So I just pop over there, and she's like, I've got this really cool plant, you want some? And so I either purchase, or sometimes she gives them to me, but we gift each other things back and forth. So last year was, like I said, the first year that I had planted it. So when it come up this year, I wasn't even sure what it was. I thought it was a weed, and I'm like, I don't know about this. So I kind of left it, and I took some pictures of it, and I sent it to Pat, and I'm like, Pat, is this something that I should be leaving in my garden? And she's like, oh my gosh, it's Dan Shen. And I'm like, oh great, that's awesome. So then, of course, my love affair with Dan Shen began this year, and so the love affair is still going strong, and I'm gonna continue that with making some medicine out of her, because she has just so beautifully enchanted my life this year, and I would like to share that with you guys. So come on over here with me to the garden. I do want to apologize. All I have is my selfie stick. I have a friend that, well, my husband's, more or less my husband's friend, but he's my friend by default. So Ralph Newcomb, he has He has a business of doing drone footage, and he does a lot of videos and things around here, and he teaches classes on how to work drones, and very geeky technology kind of person, like my husband. That's why, you know, the channel is called The Goddess and the Geek. My husband came up with that. Anyways, so Ralph gave us this really cool gimbal to use with my iPhone, and my husband charged it up and showed me a little bit of how to work it, and I was really like excited. And I took it with me to the herb class that I went to this past weekend, which was amazing, with David Winston. If you don't follow me on Instagram, Crazy Herb Lady, you'll see some of the pictures. I didn't have a lot of time to take any video footage. I wanted to, but there was so many people there, and it was just boom, boom, boom. I mean, you got there, you're sitting in class for 3 or 4 hours, you go to lunch, you've got an hour for lunch, and by the time you go down there and get situated and eat and, you know, talk to a couple of people, it's time to get right back to class. And then right after class, you know, it's you're in there the whole entire time, and really there just wasn't any time to take any video footage, which I regret. But I'm gonna ask Teresa Bourdwine from Green Comfort if I can go over there and do a little video. I'm planning on going back and visiting some of my friends that I caught up with this past weekend, and if I go over there, then surely she'll let me do some video footage. I'm sure she'd love to have her school and stuff up on YouTube, which she does have some videos out there, I think. I'm pretty sure. Teresa Bourdwine at Green Comfort School of Herbalism, you can look her up on YouTube. She's amazing. And her yurt and her whole place is just beautiful. The gardens are gorgeous. But I didn't have a lot of time to do that. So anyway, the point of the story is I took the gimbal with me, and so now the battery's dead. And I didn't know that it was going to be dead, and I tried to use it just now. Ralph, I'm sorry, I could not get it to work because I think the battery's dead. So I'm using my selfie stick, so I apologize if it's a little jumpy or if I move it around funny. It's better than when I was using my hands without any selfie stick, so I guess we are advancing some, but I'm not as technologically inclined and advanced as my husband and his friends. So I'm just gonna do the best I can with what I've got. Look at my dirty hands already. I've got dirt all over them. So let's go over here and let's get back talking about Dan Shen, because that is my love and my heart. And let's go see some roots. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. This is the last one in this bed, and I thought I would bring you guys along so I could dig it up. I've already dug up a lot of this stuff this morning, and I can't believe how warm it is out here. I thought it was going to be cooler than this today, but anyway, I'm not complaining. But this is the plant. You can see I'd already started digging. I thought, I'm going to get my camera so at least I can get this to this kettle panel. So see the little scalloped leaves? So that's kind of a telltale sign of it is Dan Shen that's coming up, because you know it looks like a lot of other weeds. So let me see if I can set this thing up and point it to the plant so I'm not holding the selfie stick and trying to dig at the same time. Give me just a second. Okay, I think that's recording, and there's a cattle panel right in front of my head, so I'm hoping that I'm getting this. So I'm gonna dig this. These roots, you won't believe how deep they are. See, this is a teeny tiny plant here, but the roots are I realized this when this one's not that bad. It's kind of going out to the side, but can you see that root? And that was not quite as red as some of the ones I've dug this morning. This one right here will probably be a deeper root. Let's see if we can get this one without, because I've torn some this morning, which I'm not happy about. And they might come up from the root that I left in the ground. Let's see if I can get this one without hurting anything. Alright, yeah, that one's not too bad. But look at that. Can you see that? I can't tell if you're seeing this or not. See that red root? Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so I'm going to take these and put them in the pot, and then I'm going to take you over here to the other bed. Okay, I put those in a pot. Those are some that I'm going to take and put in the greenhouse. So I'm going to show you this bed here, which these plants, well, I'm going to have to turn the camera around. I can't do it that way. And it won't let me turn the camera around until I stop it. So these plants here are the ones that I'm going to use for medicine. And there's a whole bunch, there's a tulsi I need to pull up. There's a whole bunch growing like right beside the bed here. So I'm gonna, I can't decide if I'm gonna try to dig those up or just leave them, because the ones that I've dug up this morning are looking a little droopy, which I think they'll be okay once I put some water on them. But I'm gonna show you these other ones growing beside the bed, and then I'm gonna show you the one that I'm getting ready to dig up right here. So hang on. So here's the bed with the Dan Shen in it. So see, that's probably several plants right there, and then you've got all that over there. So I pulled all the tulsi up out of here, and then I've got tons of it coming up down here. You can see the scallop leaves. All of that is Dan Shen. Here's a little Dan Shen. There's two more right there. There's more coming up over there, right beside the weeds, the grass. And actually, I'm stepping on some, but y'all don't want to see my shadow. There's all down in here. There's Dan Shen everywhere. It's all up there, over there. There's some over here. So yeah, it's coming up like crazy. I hope it continues to come up like that, because I don't want to dig it up and use it and then lose my Dan Shen. So let me see if I can get because it's going to be cool, since these are more established plants, to see how gorgeous these roots are. So I'm going to see if I can get the camera situated so you guys can watch while I dig. I'm going to dig the plant over here to the right up, I think, because it's a little smaller than the one on the left. Maybe that'll give the one on the left a little more help in surviving the winter. So hang on again. Alright, I think I've got it situated where you guys can see. I hope I can reach this because it's way over there. But you see that plant there? Well, there's some tulsi still over here. I thought I pulled all the tulsi up. I guess not. Some big old tulsi roots over here too, which we don't want. But anyway, they'll come apart once I start digging. So here we are. Oh gosh, this is going to be a task. I can see now. I'm wondering if I need a bigger shovel. I've broken some of the leaves off the top, which that's okay. It's not really, I need to be careful, because these roots are going to be spread out from what I've seen on those smaller plants. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at those roots. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh, Alice in there. Let's see. And I'm wearing this glove on my right hand because I've got a sore and it keeps getting messed up where I'm digging in the dirt so much. So I had to wear something to kind of protect my hand, because Lord knows I love to dig in some dirt. So, oopsie, looks like I broke one of these roots. Okay, so here's one of the roots. Can you see that I broke? But that's okay. Just clean it up. We're gonna use it anyways. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Thank you so much. You're so gorgeous. Holy cow. I might have to speed this up, and if I can learn how to do that, so I can not have y'all sitting here watching me work. Although y'all might enjoy that. My husband especially. Alright, it's all there's formed in the hose here. There you go, so girl. We're going to use you for medicine. Thank you for providing us with such beauty and medicine. We appreciate it. Yeah, this can't be done with the shovel because I'm feeling all kinds of roots and I'm wondering what that middle is gonna look like. I wonder if I get over here and just like pull on it some. Maybe I can loosen it up. Another piece I broke off. You don't, when you're digging roots, people, you don't want to break off the roots because that's your medicine. Rule of thumb number 1, try not to break the root. Have you ever dug up poke root before? Oh my gosh. Oh crap, I broke another one. That sucker is rough. Ashwagandha is not very easy either, which is another thing I'm going to have to do here real soon. Holy cow, I've got a big one. Right here in the middle is where the great big ones are going to be. Probably, from my experience from plants anyway. That middle root's really usually a doozy. Come on. I'm just kind of like moving my hands through the dirt and feeling where the roots are and kind of gently. And see, this is the thing about having a raised bed is that the dirt is not like all impacted. If this were going in the clay, there would be no way that I would be doing this because if any of y'all know anything about clay dirt, it's that stuff don't budge. It's a pain in the butt to work with plants like this, especially because, you know, you can't get your hands down in clay. I'm just working my fingers along where I feel the root and going and trying to kind of wiggle it out of the dirt, which is not the easiest thing I've ever done, but it's not too terrible. Boy, this thing is buried. It's got all kinds of roots. It's gonna take me, oops, I broke another one. It's a little one. It's gonna take me forever to get it clean with all this. That's the thing with ashwagandha too. Oh my gosh, cleaning that root is a bear. I can't imagine bending over if this was on the ground and trying to get this done. That would be a pain as well. Broke another root. All these little ones are breaking on me. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, you're just not happy, are you? I'm about ready to lay down in this bed, I think. I'm gonna lay down with you. Okay, the hole is empty finally, and this is my plant. So, look at these roots. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. So this is what we're gonna use for medicine after I take her inside and clean her up real good and get the greens off of her. We don't need the green leafy part that I'm aware of. I think there's some over here still blooming. Battery is about to die here. And so these are the ones that I broke and kind of tossed up here, which I don't think is too awful bad with all of that root that I did. And then I think I see one jutting out down there that I need to pull. Here's another one that I broke. So not too horribly bad with that amount. And that'll make a lot of medicine. So that's just one plant, y'all, that spread. And over here are the plants that I didn't touch, which, man, that would have been a serious beast. But here's one of the flowers. So see, the flower is not red at all. It's kind of resiny right now. I don't know if that's, I didn't really touch the flowers this summer when it was in flowering, but it's absolutely gorgeous when it's flowering over here. So that is what red root looks like dug up, and I'm gonna add on to this video at the end here and let you know a little bit more about its medicine. So hang tight. Hey guys, it's probably been like a week or so since I dug up the Dan Shen, and I promised that I would come back and talk about its medicinal qualities. So I've done some investigating. I looked in some of my books. I have a lot of herbal books that I go to look up this stuff, especially since, you know, if I haven't learned a lot about it in classes. And you always want to get more than one perspective on an herb before you start, you know, using it or making medicine with it. So I like to look, Rosemary Gladstar always said that if you found the same information in 3 different books from 3 different herbalists, you can probably be sure that what they're saying is true. So I always think about that. As long as I have 3 people or so that or trusted herbalists that I've read information about an herb, then, you know, that's usually what I'll go by. I've not been doing herbal medicine but for maybe 5 years or so. So it's not, how can I say it? I'm not like the most experienced herbalist out there. But, you know, I've taken a lot of classes. I've done a lot of growing. I've done a lot of harvesting. I've done a lot of tincturing and oils and teas and all kinds of things. And I've had clients, and I've helped some people through some stuff. So, you know, it's you learn by not just going to classes and reading books, but also by doing and seeing what kind of results that you have. So, this is the first year that I've harvested, and I'm working with Dan Shen because it was just so beautiful out in my garden this year, and it's grown so well for me. So I felt like when something shows up like that for you, then you need to pay attention. And so this is one that has grabbed my attention this year, and I really want to work with it. So I've got the roots dried out. As you can see, they're not, they're nice and dry now. Oops, see? So when it breaks like that, you know, it's pretty dry. So, and it still smells so good, and you can see it's nice, and see how red that is, but look at it's got little rootlets and stuff on it. But I had to clean it up really good, and then I laid it out to dry. So it didn't take it a terribly long time to dry because the roots aren't very, like, really thick. They're kind of a thin, as you can see. So let's dry. And you know, when you're gonna tincture it, which is what I'm planning on doing with this, is when you're gonna tincture it, you want it to be pretty pretty dry. So because, you know, you don't want a lot of water in your tincture. And if you do a fresh tincture, which I don't know, I'm not that good with fresh tinctures. I've heard some people do fresh tinctures out of different things, and there are some things that I've heard that are recommended to do fresh. I don't do a lot of fresh herb tinctures. I think the only ones that I've done have been like wild lettuce and chickweed, which doesn't dry very well, and cleavers. So I did, and jewelweed. So I did like fresh tinctures of all of those, but it's just because I know that those herbs are a lot better when they are in their fresh state than they are when they are dried. Because once they dry up, all the chlorophyll and all of their good stuff goes away. So just, know what you're doing. And I see a glare on my glasses from my laptop. And so yeah, and I also learned over the weekend when I was with David Winston that milky oats is also another one that you need to do fresh if you can, because it's just better. The milky stuff in there, once it dries out, the milkiness of the milky oats kind of goes away, and so you don't get that quality. And y'all, I've got to do something about this head. Every time I watch one of these videos, I think, oh my gosh, my hair. It's just, is what it is, I guess. You really realize how you talk and how Southern you are, and how much of a bedhead you have when you start doing YouTube videos. It's amazing. But anyway, we won't go into all that. I'll stop being vain here for a minute. So I'm in my Apothecary today. I've kind of straightened it up a little bit. I'm constantly straightening up the Apothecary, because what happens is I come in here, I make medicine, and then I have jars of stuff just like sitting around. Like I've got this frankincense. Look at that. It's a frankincense tincture. And it's getting to be very pretty. And I've got stuff sitting around. I'll come in here, I'll make stuff, and then I've got jars and all kinds of stuff that I need to go in there and wash, and I'll harvest herbs. I got a huge bin over there of herbs that I've harvested this year, mainly Tulsi and lemon balm, and I haven't even processed the lemongrass yet. I've got lemongrass to process, I've got comfrey to process, I've got some mugwort that I dried out that needs to be processed, and some sage. So I've got to get all that taken care of. And I just recently strained a bunch of stuff that I had made back in the beginning of July, I think, with a friend of mine. And you're supposed to strain tinctures usually around 4 to 6 weeks, so they'd been there for a little while. We did some double extractions with like reishi and some adaptogen stuff. So anyway, I strained all that and got all that done this past weekend. But I'm telling you, it's work. It's a lot of work to keep the Apothecary going and keep the tinctures fresh. And, well, tinctures really don't go bad, but, keep your tinctures up, because my husband and I take tinctures a lot, and it's a job just to keep us in our tinctures. So, yeah, so my Apothecary did a little overhaul this past weekend. Or this past week. Today is Tuesday, the 19th of November. So hopefully I can get this video finished tonight and get it up either tonight or tomorrow, so you guys can watch about Dan Shen. So okay, back to Dan Shen. I'm gonna quit babbling on about other stuff. So I watched a Medicines from the Earth talk that they had. I listened to. Because they, you can get the CDs and stuff, which you can go online and order the CDs from the conference, and you can listen to everybody talking about all kinds of stuff, different herbs and different things. And if you've never listened to anything like that, and if you just want one single class, I think you can order just one. If you're just interested in like what they said about Dan Shen, you can go and order that one class and get it on a CD. They'll send you either a CD or a flash drive, I believe. So anyway, I listened to that, and I got some notes here. It was Jill Stansberry, Walter Crinian, and Jason Miller were all talking about Dan Shen and how great it is. So Dan Shen is in the mint family. I think I've already told you guys that, which is the Lamiaceae family. It's good for, the main thing that keeps coming up for me is the blood stagnation. Okay, so I think I've talked to you guys before about how different herbs, if you look at the medicinal parts of what you're using for that herb, like for this it'll be the root, and look at the color of it, and then that's usually what it's good for. So when you think, like I said before, red is for heart or blood. So, it would make sense. Now, if you looked at the plant, which the leaves are green and the flowers are purple or pink kind of color, then, that's not gonna tell you that this is good for blood. But the roots definitely tell you that. So Jill was talking about how, it's good for blood stagnation. And it's got a lot of good chemical constituents in it. There's a Chinese formula that uses it in neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy. Also has antioxidants. She said it has rosmarinic acid that's also in rosemary and other Lamiaceae plants. Let's see. It says something about vascular. I typed down these notes really fast because they talk really fast, and so she said you can use it in an oil or a tea or a tincture. And she also has powder, which I don't use a lot of powders. Powders tend to go bad really quick. The more surface area of an herb that's exposed to air, the more quickly it will disintegrate, and so you need to be careful with powders. Walter talks about it's, let's see, they said that he said 55 studies where people injected granules to control angina, and he said it's antihypertensive with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, neuropathic pain, anti-cancer activity, or it helps with the liver like milk thistle, and he uses it in a Hep C protocol, or is going to. And then the tests, some of the studies have proven that it may slow down fibrosis of the liver. And Jason talks more about the traditional Chinese medicine and said that it's thought of as a heart-based herb, and that they gave it like the same name as cinnabar root, which cinnabar root is actually something else, but I think this is also considered cinnabar root, I guess because of the color and also because of all of the great things that it does. And he said it calms the Shen, where people are schizophrenic and have like racing thoughts and stuff. So he said it has a huge honor in Chinese medicine, and it's very good for vascular, like your veins and your arteries. So it's really used for your entire system because every one of your organs has like veins and things around it that, help it to function, And so if this is getting the blood to those veins and arteries and getting everything moving and working like it's supposed to, then it's going to help that organ. Let's see. Yeah. I'm not going to go into all that other stuff that I wrote down. So I also have a couple, well, actually 3 books here. This is a book on Chinese herbal medicine. It's a Materia Medica. It's by Dan Binsky, Stephen Clavey, Eric Stoger, and Andrew Gamble. So that's that book. And they talk about Dan Shen in here. Says it invigorates the blood and dispels stasis, which we've already talked about that. Most commonly used for problems affecting the lower abdomen, chest, or hypochondria. Very important herb in gynecology, which, you think of blood stagnation and women that are having issues with that. Let's see. Clears heat and soothes irritability, especially useful for restlessness, irritability, palpitations, insomnia due to heart entering the nutritive level. It can also be used in patterns of heart and kidney yin deficiency, which about. If you don't know about the yin and the yang, well, you need to kind of look up. I'm not going to go into all that right now, which is the female and the male. Cools the blood and reduces abscesses as an adjunctive herb to treat sores or early stages of breast abscess. I would think that would be topically. So you would make an oil with it and then, make a salve or just use the oil on it. Nourishes the blood and calms the spirit for palpitations and insomnia due to either heat entering the nutritive and blood levels or insufficient heart blood, which we already talked about that. So, and it has a whole bunch of other stuff in there, and I'm not going to sit here and bore you with all that. Well, reading from a book to you. This is another book that talks about it from Michael Tierra, The Way of Herbs. And this is a really good book, and it says, which, you know, I think I already mentioned earlier in one of the other videos where I was harvesting, the Latin name is Salvia miltiorrhiza. Let's see. It says slightly cold and bitter, systems affected of heart and liver, a minagogue, alterative, and a blood stimulant. And it says this is one of the most important Chinese herbs for removing blood stagnation. We've heard that. And regulating the menses, which we talked about that just a second ago. Also useful as an alterative, thus making Dan Shen a complete blood tonic. Used for a variety of diseases, including both excessive and obstructed menstruum in women, abdominal distension, boils, itch, and spasmodic rheumatism. In China, the herb is used both in a tea and a liquid extract, directly injected into acupuncture points in affected areas with hypodermic needle. So yeah, it talks about how the root is red, and it's like a sage. It's in the Salvia genus, and so it talks about that. So, and then Jill Stansberry, which is the same person that was on the talk there, she has a bunch of books that she's come out with recently on different systems in the body. And in the one about circulation and respiration, she talks a lot about Dan Shen. There's different spots in here. I marked a few of them where she's got them in different formulas for things. Let's see. Well, let's see. I wanted to talk, I didn't really want to talk about, yeah, she's got it in a bunch of her formulas that are in here, but I don't really see. I thought I had, here it is right here. Salvia miltiorrhiza has an anti-fibrotic effect on blood vessels, and research suggests it may also limit fibrotic processes in the lungs, which limits cell changes and collagen deposition in the alveoli and supportive cells. Its salvinic acid is used in China to attenuate pulmonary fibrosis and scleroderma patients, and it can slow or even reverse fibrosis of the liver and chronic hepatitis patients. So, she's talking about, yeah, cardiopulmonary disease. So some of this stuff, and then she's got it in a tea to recover from endocarditis. She's got, let's see, Salvia. I know it's in a lot of these because I was looking through here and I thought, dang, she's got it in all kinds of stuff. But she's using it with other things. So, you know, here's one for atrial fibrillation. So, you know, herbs work together, and we can talk about like synergy and things like that, where different herbs can accentuate each other. Just kind of like if you're taking certain medicines, there are certain herbs that can help you with those medicines, and it will help the medicine to work better and get to the parts in your body that need it. And it helps it be available to your body. So, you know, just because you're taking calcium every day doesn't mean that your body's actually absorbing the calcium that you need. Sometimes there are things that you eat or take that block actual calcium from being absorbed. And so, you know, and that's with just anything. There are things that work together, and there are things that work against each other. So you really need to look at, you know, are you taking what you need? Like I think it was Jason that was talking about, yes, in the talk he was talking about how I can't say it, Luparium is a good herb that takes, okay, let's say you have pain in your body, and you have it in 3 different places in your body, but there's one place that's particularly hurting at this point, and so you take something for the pain, an herb for the pain, well, or for inflammation. And so, you know, I don't know if you ever think this, but I mean, how does it know where to go, right? And does it help everything? So Bluparium, if you take that with it, it will like focus on where it needs to go and like kind of help it get there and say, okay, let's come over here. And so I think it's so cool the way that kind of works, you know, and how herbs can work with each other, but again, they can work against each other as well. So you have to kind of do your research and figure out, you know, what's best for you and what you can use and what you can take and how best to take it, because, you know, there are some constituents and things that come out in water with some herbs, and then there's some that come out in alcohol. And so, you know, it's a lot to learn. And I'm still learning. It's just, it's crazy. That's one reason why we did the double extraction of the adaptogens, like the reishi, because most of their constituents come out of water. Well, you know, you don't want to drink a reishi tea. Reishi is really bitter. It doesn't make for a very good tea. I mean, you could probably get it down, but you're not going to enjoy it. So you have to put a whole jar of honey in there. I don't even know if then it would be, you know, something that you would like. So, you know, to do a double extraction, we extracted everything in water and then put it in alcohol and extracted more of the constituents out in alcohol, but the alcohol will preserve it. So it will keep for longer than a week in the refrigerator. So, you know, different things like that you can learn, you know, when you get into studying herbs and the different things that they do and how they work in the body. So anyway, I'm not going to ramble on a whole lot more about this Dan Shen. So I'm going to show you guys. See all that? That was from one plant. So I will get 1, possibly 2 bottles of tincture, quart size tinctures out of that. We'll see after I cut it up as to how much it is. I usually do my tinctures 1 to 5 ratio, 1 part alcohol to 5 parts. No. Yeah, 1 part herb to 5 parts alcohol. I'm getting confused. And so I'll have to weigh and it's volume. Alcohol is volume and that is weight. So I'll have to weigh that to see how much I have, to see how much alcohol I need to put on it. And I'll probably just use 100 proof vodka. Am I saying that right? I think I'm getting the proof and the percentages. Yeah, 100 proof would be 50%, right? Okay, so yeah, I get 100 proof vodka to use for my tinctures usually. If it's something really hard like this, this frankincense. So frankincense is a resin. So yeah, I used a really strong alcohol with that. Actually, that somebody gave me. So, but okay. So I'm going to wrap this up with this. I'm probably going to do a little talk about Tulsi because I promised you guys that too. And it's been a really long time since I promised you that. So, and I've got videos of where I harvested a bunch of Tulsi like probably 2 or 3 months ago. I know, I'm sad. I get really behind and I get really excited about the herbs, and that's just something that I love to do. And I want to share with you guys what I'm doing. But at the same time, I've got to get stuff done. And I'm, aside from doing income taxes, which I do, and I do payroll and, you know, different things like that. And I do translations because I speak fluent Spanish. So it's like one day I get up and I think, okay, I'm going to do this video or whatever. And then I have 2 or 3 clients call, or I figure out there's going to be a freeze and I got to run outside and take care of some herbs or something like that. Or it's just one thing after another. Y'all know, it's just life. Life just happens and you get really busy. And so I'm going to try to be better about making these videos. But, you know, tax season's coming up in January. So I'll be really busy then. And so I don't know how much I'll be able to video. But my husband and I also did a video this past weekend with the chickens, and then my battery died on my phone. So we didn't get to finish. I mean, we finished talking about the chickens, but we didn't get to wrap it up. So I don't know if he'll want to come home and wrap it up with me or what. he kind of likes for us to talk and banter on our videos. He has a good time with that, which I do too. I love him, so I love giving him crap a lot. So I hope y'all enjoy watching us give each other crap. So if you have any more questions about Dan Shen, if you live locally and you want to plant, holler at me, let me know, because I've got a bunch of it. I've got it in the greenhouse right now, which I actually probably need to water those now that I'm thinking about it. Because it got a little warm today. It wasn't really warm, but inside that greenhouse it probably got pretty warm. I need to put a temperature gauge thing in there so I can keep up with that better. Okay, so this time I'm really wrapping and I'm gonna quit talking. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe to our channel, please, The Goddess and the Geek Homestead. You just hit the little subscribe button, and then if you hit the little bell beside the subscribe button, it will give you a notification every time we upload a video, and so you guys won't miss anything. And I look forward to hearing from you, and you can follow us on, my husband made us a Facebook page too for The Goddess and the Geek. My Apothecary page is actually Native Roots Apothecary, so you can follow one or both or whatever. We'd love to hear from you guys, or hear your ideas. If you've worked with Dan Shen, oh, by all means, let me know. Let me know what you've used it for, and what's your best way to use it. And I've not tried a tea with this stuff, but I kind of want to because it smells really good. And since it's in the mint family, I'm hoping that it will taste pretty good. But we'll have to see. If I have any left over after I do my tinctures, I might make some tea and then try it and just know what it tastes like, because that's something that's important. I need to know what it tastes like. All right, so I will bid you adieu, my people. And Thanksgiving's coming up. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday, and be love. Peace.